All right, you guys, happy Monday. I'm already exhausted at the beginning of this week, not from pregnancy, but from weekend-long negotiations with Andrew Wilson's nameless team, by the way. You don't know ever who you're emailing for this Friday's debate. Will it happen? I certainly hope so. I'm trying to make it happen. But boy, they are not making it easy in the background, like just some straight paranoia coming from his side about possibilities of my team muting them, lowering the volume, stealing the funds, and then canceling the debate. It's all very, very crazy. But the good news is that we have secured a moderator, a good one, and the moderator is already stepping in to moderate to get this debate over the finish line. I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. Not going to name the moderator, though, because they might want to announce it themselves. Also, so you know that crazy handle at No Soup for Knowles? I mean, totally psychotic. It was essentially a Daily Wire superfan account, which most people reasonably assumed was like a 13-year-old teenager, the kind that hangs like NSYNC and Backstreet Boy posters in her bedroom. Well, it actually turns out that she's a 45-year-old drunk who probably needs someone who loves her to take her phone away. I'm going to tell you how that all got discovered this weekend. But first, I have exclusive, never-before-seen photos for you, the 4K HD kind of Tyler Robinson, the kind that make us conspiracy theorists look like we're just really the people who have the courage to tell the truth early. You know what they say, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? About 2 weeks. Welcome back to Candace. Okay, so let's actually start this episode with some good old-fashioned humor. I'm going to take you guys back to the early 2000s. Great time. And one of my favorite comedic skits of all time. It was Dane Cook in his prime. The year was 2006, and he dropped his Vicious Cycle special on HBO. I can't believe it's been 20 years since he dropped this special. I made my team watch it a few weeks ago. And anyway, he begins a skit within this Vicious Cycle special, retelling a story from his youth. So I'm just going to play that and let you take a listen just on audio.
I'm not kidding you guys. I wanted to do crimes. I woke up one day, 18 years old, and I say, I had a craving. And I said, you know what I have to do? I have to do a B&E. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm doing a B&E.
Then he goes on and he sort of says, like, if you're thinking this is a bacon and eggs, no, he's talking about doing a breaking and an entering. You should go pursue that. I wish we had made that clip a little bit longer, but it just instantly brought me back to the fun of my youth, egging houses, toilet papering trees. We did it all. And then Dane Cook sort of delivers this truth of the skit about the one person that exists in every teenage friend group. Take a listen to this.
I call Robert up because when you do a B&E, you need an accomplice. And the key is you always need to bring somebody with you who does not want to go. They have to hassle you the whole time and make it difficult to enjoy the B&E.
And then he goes on and sort of starts retelling his character about his friend Robert, who's like, no, don't do it. Don't do crimes. And that's an absolute fact. This is really known as the responsible friend in the group. I'm afraid to tell you guys I was not that friend, but I had that kind of a friend. The person that keeps you in line, and then you peer pressure them occasionally out of the line. Anyway, he continues in his description of this friend, Robert, who doesn't really want to go, but he sort of forces Robert to go on this B&E. And here's how it goes. Take a listen.
Because you always have to park way too far. And then you have to go through backyards, right? You have to go, you have to hop over, fences and It's part of the fun, right? And you always have to get caught on that one chain link fence where you're like, dude, this is my favorite shirt. Well, you shouldn't be wearing your favorite shirt on a B&E. Wear your second favorite shirt, you dunce. I turn back to Robert. I go, you ready? You ready to do this? And he goes, wait. Dude, I hear a car. And I said, yeah, the world is full of them. You're gonna hear a lot of them for the rest of your life. If you hear a humpback whale, that's weird. Tell me that then I'll stop.
And onward it goes. Him and his friend Robert going to commit a breaking and entering. It's a brilliant skit. We're not going to play the entire thing. But if you have not heard it, please go pursue it in its entirety because it's brilliant and it's hilarious and it will remind you of your youth. And no, it doesn't go where you think it's going to go. However, I'm not going to spoil that for you. The reason I am bringing this up today is because of that particular portion regarding the chain link fence. It just suddenly dawned on me this weekend, the sheer stupidity, the ever-increasing stupidity of the Tyler Robinson narrative, that we are to believe that this uber intelligent kid, remember, Tyler Robinson had above a 4.0 GPA, and we are to believe also that he wanted to get away with this crime. That's expressed to his furry lover via text. Remember, he allegedly wrote this in the confession messages to Lance. He wrote, quote, "To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age." Well, there goes the suicide narrative. So yeah, we're told he wanted to get away with it, to live out his old age with this secret. And yet, when he went to campus that day, he chose to wear his favorite shirt. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you dunce, you don't do that. You don't wear your favorite shirt to commit a crime. I suddenly realized how quickly, if you remember, the media intentionally kept showing us Tyler in maroon shirts over the years. In fact, the very first picture that was presented by the media, the very first picture that went viral when his name was revealed to the public, the photo that was virtually used by every news station globally, was this one, taken from his mother's Facebook. I'm going to show you that. Remember this, right? Oh, yeah. The idea that was being immediately seeded into our minds, seeded to the public before we knew any details, was that, hey, Tyler Robinson wears maroon shirts. He loves maroon shirts, like a lot. In fact, it was almost as if he only wore maroon shirts. It was like revisit that in your mind. They even handpicked other photos to show and share with the world how much he repeatedly was in maroon, even from the time he was young. I'm going to show you some photos that were presented in the media. If you Google Tyler Robinson in the media on that day, you will see these photos that they pulled from his mother's Facebook, even going back from when he was younger, photos of him and like, oh gosh, wow, this kid must just love maroon shirts. It's his favorite shirt. That was intentional. That was intentional because I actually had gone through his mother's Facebook at the time, and there were plenty of other photos of Tyler Robinson to choose from, many of them much more recent than the one that they were showing, of him wearing shirts of all different color varieties, blue shirts, white shirts, green shirts. Here are just a few. I'm going to show you Tyler Robinson wearing, you can just keep going through these. This is shirts that were available that the media did not choose that day. They just wanted you to ingrain in your mind that Tyler Robinson, actually, when I looked through everything, I went back and reflected, because we had a screen record, I would have assumed actually blue was his favorite color on the basis of the photos that I saw of Tyler Robinson. So I reflected on that intention. It reminds me of sort of the same psychological operation of them immediately trying to remind us of how much Charlie loved Israel. It's weird. They just like instantly stood, Charlie's hugging the Israel flag, Charlie, she's Shabbat Shalom, and Charlie loved Israel. That's a psychological operation. And I want to be clear, the maroon one worked. They knew that we would naturally draw conclusions because if your brain is trying to work through things, right? But now, reflecting on that, if you believe as I do that Tyler Robinson is in fact a patsy, then of course the outfit that the person they were going to tell us was Tyler Robinson, caught on neighborhood cameras, caught on blurry stairwells of him walking down the parking garage. The outfit was pre-selected. They selected a maroon shirt, if that is the alternative narrative. So they knew to message to everyone immediately, Tyler loves maroon, Tyler loves maroon. Oh, and look, here he is in a maroon shirt walking down the street and walking down a stairwell. So your brain goes, I'm going to fill in that gap. Obviously, it must be Tyler Robinson. I'm getting the truth. You see, the only problem is the person that is walking around in that maroon shirt, I'm pretty sure, is left-handed, right? We showed you that last week that what they didn't show you in that blurry images of him coming down the stairs is that he's actually putting his phone in his left hand. And today we have more exclusive stills from the 4K undeniable footage that was shown in the courtroom to influencers eventually shown to influencers to prove that. The first thing I'm going to show you from that parking garage is what this person looks like, because if it was less compressed and blurry, which is what we were shown, you might realize that he's kind of a bit broad. Take a look at this. Oh. And I want to be clear, we did not edit these in any way, okay? This is no editing. We're not making him, it's not compressed. This is Tyler Robinson? Second thing I'm going to show you is, again, he appears to be left-handed, okay? My government source says that he takes his phone out of his left pocket and then puts an earpiece into his left ear. Oh, okay. That government source feels confident that this person is left-handed. Wow, what a silly mistake, right? You plan everything and then just forget that everyone's got to be right-handed. Oops. That's a big uh-oh, actually. It might require you to intentionally degrade and blur footage when you go, ooh, that's not the right hand. And I know last week we showed you that in every instance that we find Lance Twiggs, he appears to be left-handed, left dominant, pumping gas, snowboarding, falling while snowboarding, playing the piano where he's putting his watch. And now we can show you this picture of him eating. Oh, with his left hand. So that's kind of interesting there. It would suggest heavily that Lance is left-hand dominant. Maybe he's ambidextrous. I don't know. But I've seen enough photos now to go, yeah, I think he's left-handed. I do. Another thing that I would like to point out is that this individual that we are showing you in more clarified images, and we are doing this just to be clear on behalf of Turning Point USA, who has been demanding transparency. We just wanted to rise to the occasion. But what also becomes clear is that he seems to be wearing, and this is a big one, high white socks of some description. Take a look. Oh. And I'll tell you, that is not the sun. It is like what looks to be, and I don't know if it's looking as clear on your screen, it's got tanned arms, and like you're either albino in September, and this is the first time you've ever in your life, look, this is a better, because you can see now he's out of the sun. Just take a look at that. It looks to us like sports leggings, like soccer socks pulled up. What does that, or albino in September, just put on a pair of shorts for the first day. And when I use my mind and I go, why would someone wear like what looks like stockings on this day? It makes me think, does somebody have a tattoo? That's what, if I was supposed to be looking like Tyler Robinson didn't have a tattoo, I might wear high socks. That's what I would do. Just another thing that I would maybe explore. Or I'm sure, since Robinson is in custody, they must have photos from that day, and they're going to show that he had super tanned arms and albino white legs. Right? And lastly, what I would like to show you in these exclusive photos, that it appears to me, certainly to Ashley, certainly to girls who have tried to hide their hair in hats, that this individual is wearing his hat slightly above his head, as if he's trying to accommodate a ponytail. It's a girl thing. Take a look. Oh, yeah, that hat is actually above his glasses. We could say that definitively. What's under there? Why would you wear your hat like that? You're going to commit a crime. You see, in the other staircase stuff, they show him looking down, so we assume it's low, but it's not. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm doing this for transparency. I got to tell you, it never really made sense to me, the story of Tyler Robinson changing just his shorts. That was the story, right? And I just want to make sure that we reflect so you can really understand where we are at in terms of the Tyler Robinson narrative, okay? As it currently stands, they want us to believe that Tyler Robinson slept at home and then woke himself up before 4 a.m. on September 10th of 2025 because he had to leave his house in St. George before 4 a.m. to make it up to campus when they then catch him on walking by the neighbor's house at 8:07 a.m. That's that TMZ released footage, 8:07 a.m. So I want you to picture him waking up, putting on his favorite maroon shirt with some gray shorts. He then makes the 4-hour drive from St. George to the campus, gets out of his car, pulls into the garage, gets back in his car, pulls into the garage, finds the surveillance cameras in the garage en route to go approach a Turning Point employee. It's like, I'm going to wear my favorite shirt to approach a Turning Point employee because I intend to kill their boss. I don't know how that conversation went. I can't wait to hear her testify. He said apparently, hey, is this where the Charlie Kirk event is going to be? And she probably was like, yeah, it is. And he was probably like, I've never spoken about Charlie Kirk before. Hey, do you like my shirt? It's my favorite shirt. Maybe that's how it went. He then went, this is according to the police, to Chick-fil-A on campus. We haven't seen any footage from that yet. We haven't been told much about that. My assumption is he had a meal before he decided that it was time to do crime. He then drives off campus, parks, changes his outfit, puts on a long sleeve black shirt, puts on blue jeans, and he says to himself, before we do crime, we do Wordle. That's a fact. At 11:28, he sent his Wordle score to his friends. The word of the day was pouty, in case you're wondering. And once he sent that score to his friend, he said, no, now it's time. Then he shoves a broken down German 98 Mauser into his pants, and he starts limping back onto campus with a new hat, a new backpack, and we all know what happens next. He then jumps off of the building after killing Charlie Kirk, lands onto solid ground, like he had been practicing that maneuver. And what we know for certain is that he then changes back into his maroon shirt, but he leaves the jeans on. He's then spotted at Dairy Queen. He really loves that shirt. And he, after that change, after committing that, he again goes back to that moon after the Dairy Queen, orders a meal because he ate, right? We know that he eats there. You can see that in the photo. And also, like, who amongst us has not worked up an appetite after playing Spider-Man on a rooftop? That's understandable. He then departs Orem and drives 3 hours down to Panguitch, to the Cowboy Steakhouse, where he seats himself at the bar and he orders a steak combo with a soft drink. I want to emphasize that. No alcohol, presumably because he doesn't want to drive irresponsibly and, risking getting a DUI. He probably doesn't want to hurt anybody. So after that steak, he drives back up to Orem. I mean, long drive. Another 3 hours, this time because he wants to retrieve his rifle during what is the largest federal manhunt of my lifetime and probably every single person who's listening to this podcast lifetime. But Tyler's feeling lucky because he's wearing his maroon shirt. It's his favorite shirt. He returns to the scene of the crime, and if I am understanding now, I wrongly assumed that he had been pulled over, but actually we are re-listening to Agent Hull's testimony, and his testimony is best listened to on audio because they're showing you images and you're filling in blanks in your brain, but that's not what they're actually saying. They're telling you that actually, if you listen to it, I think what they're saying is Tyler stopped his car to ask the police officer a question. So he commits a murder, drives for 3 hours, and is feeling confident enough to actually ask the police officer a question. Listen to what Agent Hull says. Don't watch. Listen to how he describes it.
Now what do we see?
That vehicle's now pulling away and heading east on 800 South.
And why do you believe that vehicle is Mr. Robinson's vehicle?
When that vehicle was stopped, it actually made contact with an officer who was doing security detail.
Okay, and do you know who that officer is?
Officer Goforth.
When that vehicle stopped, it actually made contact with an officer that was doing security detail. That sounds to me like Tyler stopped his vehicle and he made contact with the security detail. That's got some bravado, I gotta say. We have not seen any footage from that. I'm hoping the security guard or officer's body cam didn't mysteriously crash out and die or develop amnesia. Anyway, back to Tyler. Because I want to point out that he's been awake for a long time now. At some point, he gives up and he says, I'm not going to retrieve my rifle. And he decides to drive the 4 hours back to his apartment in St. George. The earliest he got back home was 5 a.m. That's just based on his text messages to Lance and when he was captured on other doorbell footage. So we can make a safe estimate that he left Orem around 1:35 a.m. And then he drives back to St. George and arrives earliest at 5 a.m. I'm just wondering if anybody tested Tyler Robinson for cocaine or meth. Because according to this breakdown, he's been awake for 25 hours straight, during which he has driven an approximate 13 hours and 20 minutes. 13 hours and 20 minutes of driving, up for 25 hours. Now, for clarity, in 13 hours and 20 minutes, you can drive from New Orleans, Louisiana to Chicago in that time frame. You could drive from Atlanta, Georgia to New York City in that time frame. Tyler Robinson? No, he's just driving about. He decided he just was going to go around Utah after committing his first assassination. And if you're thinking, okay, 25 hours is long, he probably then went to sleep, you'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong. If you're thinking, well, he must have at least, when he finally got home, showered and changed his shirt, you'd be forgetting that this is his favorite one. What happens, according to the narrative, is he stays home for an hour before he heads back out again, this time driving about an hour away to Cedar City, because that's where he's captured on gas station footage filling up his tank. And we don't actually have an answer for why he went to get gas that far away. But apparently, this young man just loves to drive. So why get gas local when you can get gas an hour away? And then we know he will drive back home. This is according to Lance's testimony. Lance will testify that he sees him when he wakes up. They're face to face in their apartment. He still hasn't changed his shirt, I don't think. No, he doesn't, because we know he's going to be wearing that when he gets arrested. And we're just supposed to accept it. I don't know, guys. I think that one day many books will be written regarding the stupidity, the sheer stupidity of the Fed slop. Because we're going to win. We're winning already. They're coming apart. Everybody's coming apart. They can't make this fit. The feds don't even want to address or answer or respond to him being in Dairy Queen or at the steakhouse. They're leaving out all sorts of things. These testimonies are weak. Yeah, one day we're going to reflect and truth is going to win. And I'm probably going to write a book entitled, I Went All the Way to Orem to Commit an Assassination and All I Got Was a Maroon T-shirt? ? Because that's what this feels like. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this before we go to break. If you are going to commit a capital offense, please remember to wear your second favorite shirt. Okay? We'll be right back after a brief break to discuss something we discovered about George Zinn. All right, you guys, let's talk about how expensive everything has gotten. It's bad enough that grabbing a burrito and a drink for lunch can cost you more than $20. What makes it worse is that your dollar buys about 1/3 less than it did just a few years ago. So here's the question. If your money keeps losing value, what are you doing to protect your savings? One answer is gold. In fact, central banks around the world are buying more gold than they have in decades because it's held its value for thousands of years. Even legendary investor Ray Dalio recommends keeping up to 15% of your portfolio in gold. You're thinking about adding precious metals to your retirement or savings, the company that I trust is Tucker Carlson's Battalion Metals. They believe in honest, transparent pricing, which is exactly what you want when you're buying gold. Gold reached record highs earlier this year and is trading about 20% below those levels today. So if you've been thinking about buying, now is a great time to do so. Visit battalionmetals.com/Candace to explore their collection of gold and silver, and make sure you use code Candace at checkout so that they know that it's me that sent you. That's battalionmetals.com/Candace. I also want to tell you guys about Paleovalley because my husband recently got back from his Catholic pilgrimage in Spain, and apparently Paleovalley beef sticks became the unofficial snack of the trip. He packed them for himself and started handing them out on the journey to people along the way. And before long, everyone was asking for one, and it sort of became this running joke because wherever he went, people wanted to take some of his paleo sticks. Honestly, I'm not that surprised because they're one of those snacks that don't make you choose between healthy and delicious. Paleovalley uses 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef sourced from American family farms. And let's let's be honest, the reason that we keep buying them is the flavor. The original is classic. The jalapeno is my favorite because it has just the right amount of kick, and the teriyaki has the perfect amount of sweetness. They're savory, satisfying, and actually taste like real food. I always keep a few in my bag in my car, even in my carry-on, because someone in my family is always snacking. Clearly, my husband does the same. And if you're looking for a clean, convenient protein snack that tastes as good as it sounds, check out Paleovalley beef sticks. Once you try them, you'll probably start keeping a stash in your bag as well. Right now, get 20% off your first order at paleovalley.com and use code Candace at checkout. That's paleovalley.com with promo code Candace at checkout. And I want to remind you guys about Tax Network USA because I know a lot of people owe back taxes. Maybe you have years of unfiled returns. Maybe you file every year and you still can't get ahead because the balance keeps growing. Or maybe you withdrew money from a 401k or IRA and suddenly got hit with a tax bill that you didn't expect. Whatever caused the problem, one thing is certain, the IRS penalties and interest keep adding up every single month. If you don't have a plan now, you could end up owing even more next tax season. Before the IRS starts sending more letters, garnishing wages, or freezing your bank account, call Tax Network USA. They've been helping taxpayers nationwide for more than 15 years, resolving back taxes, unfiled returns, and serious IRS problems. So whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their team has resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Right now, they're offering a free IRS investigative call to find out exactly what you owe and what options you have to fix it. So call 866-686-1651 or visit tnusa.com/Candace. Again, that's tnusa.com/Candace. Okay, so I have to put out this APB and to see if any of you guys recognize this. One of the many people who have helped me research on this, there is a young woman who reached out to me and said, hey, you need to check this out with George Zinn. Like, what's that falling out of his pants? Anyway, I'm going to first show you the video of George Zinn's arrest. We haven't covered him much. He's decoy boy number one. Obviously, he said, I did it, came down. We don't really know why he said that. And these are the best kinds of people actually to bring into a federal operation because we wrongly just dismiss them as crazy and we sort of move on. And I'm guilty of this with George Zinn. I probably should have prodded a bit more, paid more attention to his arrest. But sure enough, I want you to take a look at, I don't want to say like his pants are down, take a look at what's happening between his legs, but it makes more sense when we show you this video that he just has some stuff that is falling that seems to have come perhaps maybe from his lower ankle. Take a look at this. And if you are listening to this on audio, you can see his pants are down. He does have boxers on. And it just seems like whatever it is clearly attached to him, whether it's attached to his belt, and it looks like it's coming from his ankle because he is walking. But then she discovered that in the high-res photos, it appears that George Zinn has some sort of a device that's fallen. And somebody may recognize this. It may really be nothing. I'm not familiar with it, but that's what the close-up of it is. And as you can see, it looks like the only way I could describe it would be like a walkie-talkie meets an iPhone. It's a thicker device. Again, this could be something I'm not familiar with. This could very easily be like, oh, people who are hard on hearing have this device. Here's what it is. I immediately was like, it looks like a satellite phone because of the thickness of it, but I could be wrong. We're looking to just identify that device. If you guys want to pull that up one more time so people can see that, yes, you can send us an email to moretips@CandaceOwens.com. We just don't know what it is, and we'd like to identify it just to, always investigate every single element of this case. Anyway, so last week we told you about this group chat of 92 individuals who have been obsessively, thankfully one of them who I had a very nice conversation with actually, and explained to me, yes, I participated in this and actually just wanted to say sorry and said like I was, healing, had nothing to do. And I then realized that this group had become very toxic and what started as something that seems nice. It was called Protect Erica Kirk, and seemed like people were just kind of sharing things to sort of debunk things that I was saying. Fine, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to watch a show and debunk. Then became very toxic. They started speaking about wanting to know where I lived, trying to figure out whether me and my husband had divorced. A lot of like what we saw Laura Loomer posting for a while, wanting to know more about my kids and sharing information that is just unbelievably bonkers. I can't believe they legitimately thought that we were purchasing a house for our 8 nannies. I just want to say that. Protecting Mrs. Kirk, etc., spelled ECT. I love that abbreviation there, ECT. And they then it was getting toxic. And by the way, as you know, we put somebody in prison last year who was a part of it was like a Jewish group chat. It was only 26 members. And the same thing happened. Somebody in the group got radicalized because for some people, they're sharing information. They think it's fun. They're healing. And then there are people in the group that are mentally unstable and it becomes their life. And this guy then started plotting my assassination because he got a little too fired up and the FBI got involved. He got arrested. He pled guilty. His name is Chaim Braverman and he is in prison. You can look that up. The media did not want to cover it, but we did put a would-be Jewish terrorist in prison. Now we discovered that a Jewish woman put together this group and she has been very involved on pro-Israel causes long before Charlie was assassinated. And there are 92 members and they are looking for now personal information, which is why this woman excused herself from the group and said, seems to me to be getting dangerous. And so we will be filing something and we have found out more information about other group members. But at the same time, one of the group members got exposed this weekend. And I got to tell you, the backstory of this is just pointedly hilarious. So I used to work at the Daily Wire, obviously didn't end well. And they had a very bizarre super fan community, meaning it was just kind of weird that anybody would dedicate this much time to podcasters. And it turned out that the then CEO flew these people out to the Daily Wire to meet these super fans. And then obviously that made them even crazier. I always assumed that these were young women because it gave me Taylor Swift's fan club and why I always critique her when she's dealing with these prepubescent teens that will literally kill for her. And she says something like, I didn't get my master's. She has to be careful with that because these people's brains aren't developed. So my assumption was that this account, No Soup for Knowles, was a young person who got obsessed and then got more obsessed because they're using an avatar that looks like this and got more obsessed with the Daily Wire. They started attacking me with this Britta is her name, started attacking me with the Crisis King stuff because she was a Daily Wire superfan. And obviously I knew that their PR agent and Jeremy Boring were working through her because Jeremy Boring likes to find these sorts of people who will jump in front of him and do whatever for him and kind of stroked this nobody on the cheek. I can't with that left ear. I can't with that right ear, man. It's driving me crazy. The facelift is driving me crazy. So anyway, this Britta is her name. And my assumption was she was young. What ended up happening was she gets revealed as this Britta Widener, who is, and mind you, she's been going after my family, my husband. She was part of people perpetuating the lies about my husband. Okay, remember back in April? She was a part of that group. She's in this group of 92 people. And she gets exposed as Britta Widener, who got a DUI last year. It is a tragic DUI photo, okay? And I'm just looking at this going, I can't believe this woman is almost 45 years old. 45 years old. Catwoman, childless, exactly what you would expect, the prototype of this. But I want you to understand that this woman she's not well, okay? So this account that counts up tweets of how many tweets someone says, I think I showed you a couple of weeks ago that Laura Loomer sent 1,800 tweets about me. And we were that is crazy. This woman, No Soup for Knowles, Britta Widener, makes Laura Loomer look stable. That's saying a lot. She makes Laura Loomer look stable. He counted up not her tweets over a year, okay? Her tweets over 11 months since Charlie Kirk's assassination about me. This woman, this 45-year-old Catwoman, sent 4,040 tweets about me since Charlie Kirk's death. That's in addition to her being in a group where she talks about me all day, trying to figure out where I live, talking about my husband. Do you understand that this is the exact kind of person that genuinely probably needs someone who loves her to take her phone away because she's growing? That's radicalism. That's 4,040 tweets. So I said, how many tweets, their group is called Protect Erica Kirk. How many tweets have I sent about Erica Kirk since Charlie's assassination? And the answer from this same guy is, in comparison, I have sent 104 tweets about Erica Kirk. 4,040 versus 104 tweets about a person who took over Charlie Kirk's company. That is just to demonstrate to you, this is what is going on in the background. And I do believe, like the person who left this group, she just said that she thinks someone's going to get hurt. She's like, these people are unwell. It's all they think about all day. They're sharing your kitchen. They're trying to learn about your nannies, all of it. Why are you sharing my kitchen in a group chat? So sharing this story, what ended up happening was people who know other people in the group began emailing our tips line. And what we are discovering about the profiles of the people in this group, this is a beginning of the story. Like Britta Widener probably should check into rehab and stop letting homosexual men direct her actions. But there's a lot more here. We just learned about a conservative corporation who have top people at the company that are involved in this group chat. And so this will be a beginning, not an end. We're going to keep an eye on this Protecting Mrs. Erica Kirk group chat. It's getting, and of course, like Paramount Not So Tactical is virtually the only male that's in that group, which is hilarious. Anyway, also want to give you guys an update really quickly on the Andrew Wilson stuff. I mean, I kind of gave you the update at top of show. We are trying to figure this out is all I could say. I have had no new demands since the in public negotiation that he insisted on. He has had a lot of different, let's do this, let's do that, whoever his team is, you never know who you're emailing. Really, most of it, I think, just based in paranoia. I don't understand why. I don't know. Like, do you really think I'm the type of person that would like embezzle funds from you and then be like, haha, I'm not going to give you the money and I would rather just go to prison for embezzlement? Like, no, not really reasonable. No, my team is not going to be cutting mics or doing anything crazy. I could have done this just one-on-one. The whole point of us having a moderator is to concede that moderation to somebody. So effectively, I will be in the studio, but I will not be in control. The person who has stepped up to moderate, which I think we've got to get it over the finish line, and this person is trying to help. It was Andrew's pick. Second pick. Michael Knowles declined to do it respectfully, as I knew he would. And this is Andrew Wilson's second pick, and I'm very grateful to the person for doing it. But it has been quite the experience trying to get this over the finish line. I mean, right away, we're left with me just being like, you can't smoke cigarettes in my home. And his wife seems unwell. She came apart at the idea of him not being able to smoke cigarettes. Just respectfully, I really don't care what you call me. She instantly, while he was trying to negotiate a clause that says he automatically wins if there's any ad hominem attacks, his wife, who seems to jump into all of his debates, was trying to be like, this is ridiculous. Why can't he smoke cigarettes in your studio? And she said, no smoking, typical woman nonsense. I'm surprised she hasn't Me Too'd anyone. Like, what? What is the logical leap there? I'm going to Me Too a man because I'm not going to let your husband chain smoke cigarettes? Like, do you have any respect for yourself? That doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know. And then she wrote again. I mean, she was going crazy about these cigarettes. She wrote this. Yeah. Who clutches their pearls about smoking? Zoomer soy boys, maybe. Or the type of woman who reports everything to HR. Like, I don't even know what this is. It's so trashy. I can't comprehend it. And I'm a person, I have family members that have lived for short periods of times in trailer parks that I've slept in when I was younger. Kind of nice, by the way. They get the nice little trailer park settings. I've never seen this. I've never seen this level of low class. No, I was like, okay, I guess I'm a Zoomer Me Too'er because your husband can't chain smoke in front of me. She just kept going and going. Then she was like showing photos of me pregnant while I was doing backstage the Daily Wire. Yeah, just so we're clear, it's not a tiny little studio. It's an entire warehouse. Like, that smoke is not baking anything. And it's also a cigar. Cigarettes, to me, like, you can smoke them. The idea of smoking inside of a house, to me, is just gross. I'm sorry. It's just gross. This stuff stains the walls. It smells. It's just not what I want to do. And by the way, just to be clear, Andrew was not protesting that. I think he understood that couldn't happen. And he's been a part of debates where you can't smoke. But this woman came undone. I was just calling me names and couldn't believe that I said her husband couldn't smoke in my home. Like, try having some respect for yourself. You can't smoke in my home. And then someone pointed out to me that this is like a routine thing where she just jumps into his debates. But his brand is like manosphere and patriarchy and like putting these like girls, OnlyFans girls, in their place and telling them about how they shouldn't be living this life. And yet his wife is way out of pocket. And when that girl that we showed you, Charlie, debated him and was about to raise a valid point about, if you're going to be lecturing about this lifestyle, do you embody this lifestyle in your own personal life? And he sort of crashed out. What happened after that was his wife called in and started debating her. Like, literally, He then went out for a cigarette break and she called in. I can't even think of this. Like, this person is not in the manosphere. Like, he has a wife who is a full-blown modern feminist. It's incredible. You got to watch this clip of his wife on the Whatever podcast taking over the debate for him.
Rachel seems to indicate she'd like to do a call-in with your permission.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to go have a smoke.
No, I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, no. He talked a bunch of shit. Now it's your turn.
I think it would be fair. You did invoke. You did invoke Rachel.
I mean, sure.
So Rachel, Andrew gave the green light there. It'll take us a few minutes to get it going.
Bring in your wife to fight me and
stay tuned. Rachel Wilson is in the building spiritually.
You said that I'm promiscuous. So what promiscuous means? I've slept with a lot of people, right?
I would say that I think that having children with multiple men is, I think that is more significant than.
Okay, well, I think it would be if, and I know why people assume this. I do understand why people assume it. They're just wrong in their assumptions. It would be wrong if I had been sleeping with lots of people, if I had been carelessly getting pregnant with random people. That's not the case. I've spent my entire adult life only in 3 long-term committed relationships, one of which is a, almost 20-year relationship with Andrew. Now we're like 18 years in. I've been married since 2012. Prior to that, I was married for 4 years, as Andrew had to unfortunately explain. That ended not even because I left, but because he beat the crap out of me and was being pursued by the law and left the state, and so it was like abandonment. The first one was my high school boyfriend, who I knew my whole life, who I was with for 5 years. We had 2 children. He had his own personal problems, and that did not work out. So I understand why people make the assumption, but the truth is I'm not promiscuous. I have an extremely low body count. I've never had one-night stands. I've never cheated on anyone. I've never just carelessly or casually had sex ever. So I've only ever been with men that I, at least at the time, felt certain I was going to be with forever and have a family with.
Maybe you should have.
I did get nerfed on the first 2. I will admit. But
Charlie, I did wonder, hang on, Rachel, I did wonder one thing. If she had slept with 3 men but had aborted all of the children, would she still be promiscuous?
She would have lived her life. It would have been better for her.
If she had only slept with 3 men but aborted her children, would she, Rachel, stop for a second. Would it be the case? Was that too abusive? Shut up, Rachel. Was that too abusive, Charlie?
I don't know, man. All I'm saying is I'm excited for Friday, because we're not going to be phoning friends, but the wife is a thing. It's a thing. And she jumps right in and she speaks on behalf of her husband. He tells her to shut up, which I would, when he said, is that abusive? Yeah, my husband does not tell me to shut up, and I do not tell my husband to shut up. Just to be clear, I would never allow that in a relationship at all. It seems crazy to me to say to your wife, disrespectful, especially when you're on live TV or like live in a live debate. To be fair, I did tell his wife, I suggested she should shut up. So like maybe it's an extenuating circumstance when she just kept tweeting about the cigarettes. Like, your husband can't smoke in front of me. I don't know what to say. He's not allowed to smoke cigarettes in front of me, and he's not complaining about that. So why are you online authoring 37,000 tweets and finding photos of me trying to pretend that I'm a hypocrite? No one has ever in my entire life, to be clear, in my entire life, smoked cigarettes in a home that I've lived in. It's my home. So it's a strong no. And he did not try to negotiate being able to smoke cigarettes, but it's just incredible to see the kind of people that Turning Point USA is affiliating with or bringing in to teach debate tactics is my broader point. I'm amazed. I really didn't know who this guy was. I knew nothing about this guy until he went on Joe Rogan, and then we started looking in and trying to figure out stuff about him. And the more I find, I am just amazed that this is Turning Point's horse. Like, we brought him in and paid him to teach our students to debate. So when I say to you guys, it's a very good idea if you're a parent not to allow your children to get involved with Turning Point USA because of the characters that are around. Victor Marx, this is the person who's going to be training people to debate and being paid to do that. Like, this is what I'm talking about. They're no longer the organization that had the image that Charlie wanted. Charlie was the exact opposite of this. Always respectful in his debates, no matter how fired up they got. It was one of his rules. He would never denigrate. He's not tagging people in to defend him. Certainly not the kind of person that would ever tell his wife to shut up. And he lives his life honorably. Okay, he would not be having his wife scream about smoking cigarettes. I mean, it's just the whole thing has gotten very bizarre with Turning Point USA. And yet they're doing this under the banner of like that they've never been holier. I don't understand the hypocrisy. It's crazy. Anyway, we will take a quick break and we'll be right back to answer some of your comments. All right, you guys, way before the food industry failed us and started making low quality foods and hiding behind nutrition labels, one thing was always true. Organic fruits and vegetables are the superfoods that your body needs. Fast food tastes great for like 20 seconds, but the junk and inflammation that follow is trashing your system. It keeps you tired and weak. That's why you need to check out fieldofgreens.com. Field of Greens is 100% organic fruits and vegetables that are dehydrated and ground into a fine powder. Every ingredient was selected to support critical functions throughout your body. It is the easiest health upgrade that you will make. 1 scoop a day and you'll feel the difference. Field of Greens promises that your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back. Get 20% off if you use promo code Candace at checkout by visiting fieldofgreens.com today. That's fieldofgreens.com, promo code Candace at checkout. And I want to remind you guys about American Financing as well, because it is no secret that everything is starting to feel a lot more expensive. If your daily essentials are ending up on a credit card, you should know that those double-digit interest rates are quietly draining your bank account. If that debt is starting to feel heavy, you should know that you're not alone. And if you're a homeowner, you've likely looked at your mortgage rate and thought, I can't touch that. Well, American Financing offers a smart equity loan so that you don't have to. It allows you to wipe out high-interest debt and lower your monthly overhead while keeping your primary mortgage intact. It's basically a surgical strike against debt. Unlike a fluctuating HELOC, the smart equity loan is a fixed-rate loan, giving you a predictable monthly payment. At American Financing, there are never any upfront fees to find out what you qualify for, so talk to a salary-based consultant today. These are the experts that are paid to help you save, not sell you more than you need. So call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210, or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. That's americanfinancing.net/Owens. Okay, let's get into some of your comments. First off, top comments from last episode. It was from Manny Petty, who wrote, in my opinion, Mikey McCoy is the one and only piece of evidence that I needed. His very best friend gets shot, and within 2 seconds before even figuring out what had happened, he's on the phone and turned around walking away. He doesn't even flinch or looked shocked. A human brain doesn't even have time to process anything that quickly. Has anyone explained that insane reaction yet? Yeah, they did. And they are on record lying about what happened there. You know, initially, like I said, they told us that he instantly called Erica. Then we learned that he didn't call Erica. He actually called his wife. And there was like all these 3-way calls. And the call with Erica, in my opinion, was way too short. And then he's like on the phone with Danny Phillip for 10 minutes, but they should be together. But now we're thinking actually they went into 2 different cars to the hospital. It's all weird and it's all going to get exposed. It's good to have them on record with their stories about what they did. It's great that all of them really kind of secretly wanted to be celebrities and just couldn't stop talking. They all wanted to like be Charlie and couldn't stop talking and said way too much. They probably all should have said nothing, from Frank Turek to Brian Harpole to Erica. Everyone should have just laid low, and they didn't, because I don't know. They just were all too full of themselves or sure of themselves. I don't know. Ellie writes, the difference between Candace's message of, I want these people to live and to be faced with consequences of what they did, and Frank's message of, quote, she should be killed for what she said, is incredibly telling. Yeah, there's something very dark about their constant usage of the Bible, like, and biblical proverbs to somehow essentially, and I think this is their perspective of themselves, that like whatever we do, it's holy and it's fine as long as we know our biblical proverbs backward and forward. And people are seeing through that. There is cracks right now. There are pastors that are complaining, saying that, oh, like, you know, our church members are just getting caught in the cult of Candace. What are you talking about? You guys have never been more obvious. The grift has never been more obvious to like wear ripped jeans and wear clothes and call yourself a pastor and strum a guitar and then tell people that they have to worship Israel. That's not my fault. And there's much that I want to say about that article that NBC did. I'm going to save it for tomorrow, which really is quite shocking that Blake Neff is sharing what they're saying, because they're effectively saying, like, the conservatives would have been united after being fractured over Epstein. If only it wasn't for Candace. Charlie's death would have united them, and they would have forgotten about Jeffrey Epstein if only it wasn't for Candace. Like, do you guys hear yourselves? And the answer is no. It's just borderline sociopathic narcissism. They cannot see and hear how the public is perceiving everything that they are doing. And they just keep saying more and sharing more. And they're convinced that these pieces are going to work, or these deep dives are going to work, or these low budget celebrities are going to work if they bring them in and everyone's trying to be cool or something. I don't get it. People just want the truth. And I do think that spiritually, we're just kind of more in tune right now. And like I said, the reason why I'm positive every day and happy every day is because the truth is inevitable. It always wins. And I know that I'm on the side of truth. And like I said, I do also I'm in a different place right now with the assassination, with Charlie being gone, where I have moved from that initial trauma and feeling haunted by it to feeling like he's just like fighting alongside. And I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's just how I feel. Man, add it to my pile of dreams or something. I feel like Charlie's really with us and we're going to see this thing to the end. Like he tweeted back in 2018, I won't be here, but you see this thing to the end. That's what we're doing. We're seeing it to the end. I want to remind you guys, if you would like to support the show, you can get merch available at CandaceOwens.com. By the way, I do want to shout out the Stop Anti-Candacism account. I love it. I am seeing your tweets of saying that you are reporting this or reporting that. It's very funny. It's a parody account. There should be a real Stop Candace Anti-Candacism 501c3, and we're going to do exactly what the ADL did, just be bigger. And yeah, you guys can buy the mug. It's the easiest way to support us is to just buy some kit on the website. The fact that I'm saying kit is so British. Just honestly, it's just incredible being married to a Brit and realizing what words you just suddenly say. But yeah, that's the best way to support us. And now we will get to a couple of your comments from today's episode. Brooke wrote, my main and my truth, glad to be back early, upset that I missed the lives last week, but catching up had me dying over the weirdo that was smoking at every social event to prove he's a badass. Pardon my language. So embarrassing. TPUSA is really pushing it. Christ is king. I totally agree that it's weird. It's just getting weird. And that's why I want to address this. By the way, people that are like, this is beneath you. Actually, no, this person has stated on record over and over again that people and their conspiracy theorists are scared to have a debate, or has, suggested that we're not in this for the right reasons. And he has also peddled the talking point that the evidence against Tyler Robinson is overwhelming. And I'm just confident taking that debate. And I think even though Turning Point is declining to acknowledge that that's their horse, Blake Neff instantly said, if you want to, I would love to throw money towards you debating Candace. So we're going to take that as he is co-signed by Turning Point USA. That's all we needed. We need you guys to acknowledge and say you'd throw money toward it, whatever. You guys are already paying him to debate. We don't really need it formalized in paper. We know that they always are, they're cowards. They're never going to do that. They're never going to acknowledge that they are empowering all of these influencers and psychopaths, in my view, my opinion, people like Britta who are just unwell. That's what they're left with. They have to find people who are unwell, don't have any purpose in their life, and will just commit to 4,040 tweets in the span of 11 months. Patricia Pelly writes, you are my hero. Each day I race home to watch. You're without a doubt one of the smartest people on the planet. Definitely not. I do work hard, though. Thank you for all of your hard work. Love you to bits. Keep going, Max. I will always outwork my opponents, and that's what I can offer. Impolder writes, in the photo of Tyler Robinson in what appears to be his dorm room, wearing a hat, maroon shirt, and jeans, there appears to be an outline in his right pocket, further supporting the idea that he carries his phone in his right pocket. Oh, he is right-handed. There is no question. It's actually in the documents that he is right-handed. If you go look in the court thing, he's taking notes with his right hand. The person, I believe, that was coming down these steps and doing all this made a mistake because you can't rewire your brain for a morning. And with all of the evidence of Lance and his fingerprints everywhere where they say Tyler's is, it doesn't make sense to me that he would suddenly get federal immunity even for a short period of time. So I'm looking forward to, like I said, this court case going through and us being able to see Lance on the stand and hearing the full story of what happened. Lady Di writes, please do not allow his wife to be part of his 3 to come to your home. I am throwing in no boundaries. I just want to get this over the finish line. I think his wife is toxic and quite obnoxious, but I am not going to be putting up any boundaries at all. Would I want her here? No. But if she's crying over cigarettes not being here, imagine what she would do if I said you can't be here. What am I going to do? Strata writes, they're all terrified. Every single TPUSA clown who keeps showing up, from the fake pastors to wannabe influencers, all look 10 years older. I agree with that. Only Candace gets more and more beautiful. That's very sweet of you. Truth is beautiful. I do believe lies make you sick. Actually, there's a clip of Charlie saying that too. Like they sort of rot inside of you. And maybe I even got that from him. And you can start to physically see it manifest on people's faces, the upset, the anger. Remember that like random week where it seemed like like somebody took over Andrew Colvette's phone and was tweeting on his behalf? Yeah, that was like he's just seemed to be crashing out and just kind of lost all appearances. And yeah, I think it's because they've told a lot of lies and they have attacked all the wrong people, the people that they should be teaming up with. I wonder why they're not teaming up with us. I wonder if we'll find out. I think we will. I think that's all the comments. This person made a joke. I see your comment, but I'm not going to read it, True Detective, because I know you are. He writes, I am the great Cole Holio. It is from Beavis and Butthead. And then the second part is just a little not PG-13, which we try to keep this show, but I know where you're going with. It's just an expression from Beavis and Butthead. And thank you very much for that donation. All right. That is all, you guys. I'm going to hop off. We will see you guys tomorrow.